subscribe, and give some fan mail, and slap the bell. Woo.
Okay. Good morning, guys. So we're back working on the Corvette. And today's video, we're actually going to be taking everything out of the engine bay. All the wires, all the hoses, all the mounts, brackets, anything that needs to be kind of repaired or painted or just, you know, refreshed. Calvin started working on the headlights again. Calvin, say hi.
Hello.
We got more parts. This is not for the Corvette, it's for the truck and my mom's truck. So we might be doing a video on that later, not sure yet. So as you guys see in the previous video, we got the back primered for, you know, kind of wet sand just to get the body nice and level. The interior is painted. We just got to do the back of trunk storage area. But with this crappy weather we're having, we're just gonna be focusing on the engine bay for today. Just try to get it stripped,
Where
clean.
are the goddamn swivels?
You had all of them right here. Look at him. He's accusing me of my swivel misplacement when he has all of them there. Gosh. It's always a white guy, isn't it?
Oh.
Alright, guys. Last night we couldn't really get too much done. We got a little bit done, but it just, the weather was so bad and we needed to cut and do body work. And it just, we don't want to do it in the garage because the amount of dust it's going to make. And, you know, if we do wet sand, it's going to be flooded in there. So we went ahead and we got rid of, it looks like the AC and heater box, whatever it was. We got rid of a lot of the wires that was here, the fuse box wires, the radiator cover, the headlights, as you guys can see, are out. So we got rid of a lot of stuff that's kind of in the way of our, you know, clean up and rebuild process. So right now Calvin's prepping up in the garage to get we have a couple of spots in the back here that we gotta get core sealed, kind of like up there and inside. We didn't want to do that at the same time because there was no way of getting it in there without touching the rest of the metal that's in the car. So it's just like we did it in stages. Right now I'm actually preparing to do a pretty big fiberglass repair. As you guys can see, this whole thing is cracked all the way to here. So what I'm thinking of doing, I'm gonna cut it, grind down this corner, grind down this. Back here, let me see if I can get you guys. There's right here. That's kind of like mounting points, and there's another one here. So my plan is to cut that, grind the mounting points down a bit, put fresh fiberglass mat and resin to kind of as a mounting point, and then, you know, hopefully work the rest of the body in. Hopefully. So we'll see. You know, I'll take you guys through the process. Alright, so I had to switch cameras as the big camera battery, the memory card's full. So as you guys can see, we grinded this down. It's a good half of it missing in this area. Just prepping the fiberglass cloth right now. You want to cut little squares just to fill in like this area right here. It's like small little squares like this, like that. Now, we're gonna do two coats. So as you guys can see, Calvin grinded it down about halfway through. So Calvin got his little cup of resin mixed up. He's gonna go ahead and take one of those little patches and this let me get the tape back up just in case. Okay, there you go. So just lay it on top, and with one hand, you could put that cup down on the body. There's nothing glue on, right? So just lightly dab. We should have kind of covered with tape around it, but it's okay. Dab the edges too. Yeah, there you go. Push a little harder down. There you go. You might have enough. That's fine. Try not to pull too much because you don't want it to run down the body of the car.
Right.
Ooh. What?
Sunk in.
That's fine. We could always come from the underside and patch it up. And let's see.
I pull it back a little bit.
No, don't worry about it because the tape's still here.
Okay. Do I have to press in that?
No, don't. In the center, you can't. Don't press. Just try to get the edges. That's all. In here, let's just throw this one. That's good. That's good. Throw this one there. Get. Oh, there's 2 pieces there. 1 second.
Yeah.
Go ahead. And again, you don't need too much resin when you're doing this. This is just, even an ounce is kind of overkill. But we didn't have a scale, so we had to make, unfortunately, just 1 ounce. Oops, I got all that sticky stuff on me.
Syrup. Oh, that's too much.
Yeah, you can use, I got the maple syrup on me. But just make sure that center still has resin. Like, you could take a little glob and just drop it in there and kind of like let it soak in, because you don't want to have that be a dry spot and it just starts delaminating. All right, that's good. All right, so now take the last piece and put it on there. Go ahead. All right, so while Calvin does the last piece, we gotta let it dry up. It takes about an hour for it to fully dry. I think 2 hours or so to be able to sand. And once that's done, we'll show you guys the process of, sanding it, bringing it down to this level surface with the rest of the body and making it disappear for good. So after a few hours, this thing's rock hard. And there's a little divot here, but right now we're gonna focus on sanding these raised edges and kind of getting it even with the body, and then we'll fill in the low spots. So Calvin's gonna go ahead and hit that with 80 grit sandpaper. So while he sands over there, I'm gonna show you guys what we did. We went ahead and we primered this. We focused mainly on this area as this whole bottom piece is covered. We just wanted to get primer, so when it goes to paint, let's say they lie to us and they don't put primer, we already have high build primer on the car, so, well, on the door sills, because this whole area is covered by a door sill and the side skirts with the exhaust. So I started filling in right here. I still got a little patchwork right there. This is our little ghetto engineering device to hold these pieces together. So this, I ran a rivet right there. It's sealed in the center right here, and right there is sealed as well. Here we had to put a weight because this was cracked in 3 pieces, and this is kind of like not free flowing, but the radiator support holds this in place. So we had to kind of like MacGyver to make sure everything lined up perfectly. Right here there was a crack, so that's why there's a gap. But as you guys can see, it sits pretty nicely. Ignore the mess because it did turn pretty messy because, we had to use pretty much every possible technique known to mankind. And that's how normally there's a gap here. We're gonna fill this whole area. Like, we're gonna make it pretty looking, because whoever did the previous body work right here, as you guys can see, just slapped everything together. So it's gonna be a lot of work, but we're gonna make it look good. So right now, when this dries, we're gonna sand this down, sand this down, sand that down, put a fresh strip of fiberglass on both sides. Like, pretty much it's gonna be a giant strip of fiberglass here, here, and up. And then we're gonna let that dry. And once that dries, then we could go ahead and pretty much sand this whole corner and make it look as it did from factory. Calvin, how's it going over here?
It's getting lower and lower.
Okay, just be careful right here because you don't wanna
Yeah.
mess up that body line. But yeah, it's coming out pretty nice. And so after we finish with that, this It's gonna be another project. We're gonna be getting rid of these. It's gonna be tricky, but we're gonna make it happen. All right, so Calvin's pretty much done with this little sanding patch. As you see, he's I think at 320 grit sandpaper now. Should be almost ready for to primer it and make it look nice and sleek. So yeah, we ended up getting rid of the antenna, like as you guys seen. We're gonna get rid of the turn signals. Not turn signals, they're like side markings later on. That's gonna be an intensive project. So right now we're trying to focus on the bigger crucial areas like this crack that I was dealing with before we go ahead and do like cosmetic changes and so on. But yeah, here's the crack repair. So we put a few layers over here. Ignore this, is all going to be trimmed off because the edge I'm going to focus on separately. So we put a few strips there, a few strips there, a few strips there. So now I'm just letting that bond before I go ahead and sand. Maybe I have to add more layers. I'm definitely going to be adding some fiberglass mat instead of cloth to the inside. As you guys can see right there, I'm going to be filling that whole thing with fiberglass cloth mat. Obviously, I'm going to work on that area once that dries and we get to, you know, work, because we can't really touch the body right now, because if we touch it, it could flex and we don't want it to crack. So once that dries, that's when I'm gonna go ahead and work underneath and put the reinforcement inside of the car.
Good morning. Hello. Bonjour. What's up? Happy Mother's Day.
Oh yeah,
Happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there. Doing a little bit of fiberglass work, a little patching. There's a big crack on here. That's a pain in the ass, so we gotta do what we gotta do, right?
It's not a little bit, don't lie, Calvin. So it looks like whoever had the car before had a massive crack. Like literally these two parts separated pretty much all the way through. And they just filled it up with a shit ton of Bondo and called it a day. And now we're trying to clean up their mess.
Yeah, like this was all filled in right here. We had to sand it down. What did we use? The Dremel?
We used
just got a new tool.
Yeah, we used a Dremel. We used pretty much everything at our disposal to get. There was about I would say an inch to 2 inches of.
It was thick.
Yeah, of just straight Bondo on there. So no wonder it separated, because it had nothing holding it together. They just kind of filled it in and called it a day. So right now we're trying to fix that. It's gonna be tricky, I ain't gonna lie, but.
And what it looks like from underneath, because we're wondering how, like this top part is separated from the side. It was strange. So we think it's two pieces. This is one piece, and then the second piece, and then it's glued together, I guess, right? Bonded together, whatever.
That's what it looks
resin,
like. Yeah.
Whatever you want to call it. So we're just filling in the cracks. Give you a closer look. You can see the hole right there, and then cracked. So it's like when your shoe breaks and like the rubber part of your shoe comes off from the top part, so it flaps.
Yeah, pretty much.
It was flapping, right?
Yeah.
Well,
it wasn't flapping because the Bondo's kind of holding it in. But right here, this piece goes under here, and there's a piece, like a support bracket that runs through. So what they did, when this thing, I guess, cracked or whatever happened, they just literally shoved Bondo. You can still see a little bit of Bondo left. We didn't really grind it all, but they just shoved Bondo in every corner and left it. And you know, after hitting a couple of bumps, the Bondo can't really stick to the fiberglass if it's not, you know, prepped properly. So it's just like.
And the Bondo is this red stuff.
Yeah.
Red looking, pink, whatever you want. Rosé. We're gonna have some rosé after this is done. So, and we thought, thank God, it didn't. We thought it was gonna be that bad the whole way through underneath the body line, but just up there was just messed up.
Yeah.
He must have been drunk coming home or something. And just slapped into a pole or something. But we got we used the Dremel to
Oh yeah, show them what we did yesterday.
to
We
get this
didn't
out.
really
Oh,
film too
yeah,
much 'cause
right,
the weather.
right. So we put a patch here. This is a low spot right here. And then we pretty much had to rebuild the front. Because right here is like missing. Wherever the screws were, there wasn't a full hole there. It was cracked all the way through. So we patched it up with new fiberglass. Then we just drill our own holes, right?
Yeah.
And then all we need to do is sand and just smooth out the edges.
And we're doing a custom, like not custom, but we're modifying the front end.
Oh yeah, you cut out the blink, whatever the hell
Turn
you
signals.
want. Turn signals.
Well, side markers, side
The
markers.
side markers right here. So where's the pieces? So you took the Dremel, you cut this bad boy out. It's in here or whatever. Don't need that anymore. And we're gonna patch over it, right?
Yeah.
We don't need it. It's corny looking.
And we got some big plans for the headlights and the tail lights, but we'll keep you guys.
Yeah, we'll
in
keep that on the
mystery.
low.
Yeah.
Keep that on the low, because we think it's gonna look good. It's gonna just give it a nice twist, you know. Gotta reinvent the wheel sometimes.
Exactly.
But yeah, that's what we're up to. And then I think besides that, the one Alex is working on, the biggest project.
Well, I think this is the biggest.
That's biggest?
That was pretty easy.
I mean, well, we're not done with it. We have to sand it and see what happens. See if
No, but I mean like structurally, like to rebuild it,
Oh.
it was easier than this because this one we had to grind. Like I honestly wish they left it alone and they didn't fill it up with Bondo, you know?
Yeah. So we had to put a rivet back into the bird cage, whatever supports back there. We used clamps to try and keep it on level. And he made a few cuts. You showed this in another video, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's how it looks. I mean, this shit ain't going nowhere. That thing is down packed.
So like, come here. Let me just show them what I'm doing. So what we started to do here, after we grinded everything out, we filled up most of the cavity with the fiberglass mat, just to build the thickness up and kind of like tie up the two pieces together. And now we're just running this fiberglass cloth really wide, just to like hold them together. There's still gonna be a low spot, but the low spot we're gonna fill up with like fiberglass Bondo or regular Bondo, depending how deep it is. And that should give us a nice, you know, strong bonded piece together. Like look.
Bring its foundation back.
Yeah, exactly. Like,
Instead of just putting a patch over the two cracks.
Yeah.
Just pray to whoever that it will stay.
It should.
Giving it some.
Well, it should stay because
structure.
we're going like, look, this is 2 inches on the outside of the crack, and we're going 2 inches on the bottom. So it's gonna like build a bridge, pretty much, a nice sturdy bridge.
And you're gonna overlap the.
Yeah.
The
Yeah, like if you could see here, I'm doing like
Yeah.
almost 30% overlap.
See, look at that. It's already turning. It's already starting to smooth out. You know. Crazy. We're thinking white wheels. Think about it. Look at this. White wheels.
A nice maybe like 20-inch wide, 20 inches in the back, 19 in the front, maybe 10 inches wide all the way around. Give it like that nice like box stance, you know?
Yeah, like drop the back a little bit. And Alex wants to put on bags.
I want this thing on the ground. When I go to the supermarket to pick up my groceries, I want this thing on the ground. I want the exhaust pipes to touch the ground. And then when we're driving, you know, we're obviously gonna lift it up. But
Yeah.
I always like slammed cars. No camber, obviously, but you know, just I want the car to look nice and mean.
Sit low.
Yeah. Like, okay, so you can see this little valley right here. That we can't fill in right now because if we keep filling in, it's gonna become brittle. So we're gonna have to, you know, work it, fill it in, work it, fill it in. We don't want to just throw in a bunch of resin and call it a day because it's not gonna be structural. Alright guys, so after about a week of working on this front end with Camille's help,
Everyone, subscribe and give some fan mail and slap the bell. Woo!
Okay, so yeah, after about a week of working on this front end, as you guys can see, the crack is gone. We fixed that. We fixed the entire support. It's rough right now because we want to get our bumper and make sure it lines up nice before we go ahead and grind down more. The hood's temporarily on. We're getting ready to work on the doors and the T-tops. But yeah, pretty much got everything done. This
was a
yeah,
this whole thing was busted up.
I think we have a video of it where that whole strip.
We do, and pictures.
Yeah, this whole strip pretty much was separated, so we had to fix it, bond it, you name it. So right now we're actually going to be rolling the car in, starting on the doors, the T-tops, and the hood, getting everything 100% ready and primed. We still got a lot of sanding to do on the actual high build primer itself. This is just so we could see the lines and the imperfections a little better with the guide code and all that, just to get it nice and flat. So once we get the car back in and we start doing the doors and the fenders and the doors, the T-tops, and the hood, we're gonna start working on the engine and transmission rebuilds. So keep you guys updated to the next one. All right, as you guys saw, we pretty much finished the whole front end. We got all the cracks and imperfections pretty much straightened out. The next video, if you guys stay tuned, it's going to be us doing modifications such as the wide body, the dual vents, possibly a front and rear bumper. I'm not sure yet. So stay tuned, and you guys will see what we have in store for the car.
And also subscribe and slap the bell. If you don't slap the bell, no notifications on new videos.
I was gonna say that, but what she said.